You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
Was with Oakland, he rushed for 1,066 yards with 6 touchdowns that year. But what's interesting about Latavius Murray is the fact that he's a guy that averages almost 4 yards. That's what I would be looking at, to be honest with you. I'll be looking at Coleman. Maybe Coleman will be priced a little out there, but his years, and he can catch the ball out the backfield, and he has a similar running style to Mark. Not exactly powerful, but he can run with power. He can run with speed. The guy's it could be a problem. But the Saints like Murray. Altogether, his total career resume: 899 attempts for 3,698 yards, 34 touchdowns. 34 touchdowns. He had a double-digit year in which he had 12 touchdowns with Oakland, who drafted him out of the 6th round, pick 181 back in 2013. And then, of course, the last couple of years with Minnesota, in which his first year he had 842 yards and 8 touchdowns. So the worst that he's ever done was his rookie year when he only had 2 touchdowns. But ever since then, the guy's had at least 6 rushing touchdowns a season. Now, looking at his statistics as far as him catching the ball, in Oakland, he had 41 catches for 232 yards, no touchdowns. Interesting, he has no touchdowns as a receiver. They don't obviously look his way in terms of catching the ball in the red zone because they probably the one running it in on the red zone. So, I wanted Mark to stay. I thought the Saints would actually work out something. He was motivated to stay. The Saints wanted him to stay, but obviously, when you coming into the season, the Saints didn't have a lot of cap room to play with anyway, and they had some needs they had to take care of. Latavius Murray is the man now. Saints bring him in. He's the man. They'll pair him some kind of way with Alvin Kamara and make it happen. Short yardage back. Do I like the move versus losing a guy like Ingram? Ingram's been out here for years, so we used to seeing him. But if the Saints tried to make him an offer and it didn't work out, then what the hell are you going to do? You got to move on, because guys are signing, you got to move on. This is not a bad replacement for Mark Ingram, to be quite honest with you. This guy is productive. He's big, and he definitely moves the power. And if you have an offensive line issues like the Saints had last year, going deeper to the playoffs, this is a guy that can really open something up. We soften him up with Alvin Kamara, and maybe he could be a second half guy that just beats him up down the late in the game. Now, he does have injury. He has a few injury issues that he overcame, but overall, $4 years for $14 million for an NFL starting caliber pairing back. I guess you could say it's all right. But a lot of people, of course, they feel attached. You can't get too attached to these players, people, because they're going to go where they feel they need to go for their best opportunity. And we could just respect what he did here and just hope he doesn't do good against us when he comes back in whatever capacity when he got to play us. So anyway, that's the big news on the Saints roster in terms of them getting it with Mark Ingram on the out. Now, the other thing to talk about, which happened today, was the Saints really beefing up the special teams. Of course, the addition of all these new special teams people that's coming in here, new special teams coach, new assistant coach, of course, signing assistants to help them out. So a total overhaul of the special teams unit altogether, which was very alarming. I thought Banter would come back, Westhoff would, whatever. But Sean Payton said, I got an opportunity to get one of the best up-and-coming special teams guys here, and it's well welcome. They did really well. But the issue the Saints have is in the kick return game. They have to get that kick return, punt return game together, and that's the thing that's really been kind of holding them back. Because if you had a decent special teams in terms of kick return, punt return, that can put you, say, at the 35, 40-yard line every time and kind of shorten the field for Drew Brees in that offense, boy, would that really help. But to culminate on top of all of the special team signings, the special team coaches and the core members coming back, the Saints inked restricted free agent Will Lutz to a 5-year extension for the team. Of course, money was not mentioned. I don't see a money figure mentioned. That'll probably be released. That'll definitely be released later. But big ups to the Saints for making this happen. Line Will Lutz, just listen. This guy proved to us he's going to be a solid kicker for us after spending 11 years with 11 kickers every damn year. Let's just get this kid. This kid's shown that he's a good match with Thomas Morstead, who's in my opinion a Hall of Famer. And Will Lutz is one of the top 5 kickers in this league. Mark Ingram on the brain. Will Lutz, one of the top kickers in this league. So Saints income to a 5-year extension. Big ups to the Saints. Big ups for Will Lutz for getting that done. And, of course, other signings dealing with the special teams unit involves Craig Robinson, who's a guy that came over a couple years ago. And Craig Robinson pretty much did every damn thing the Saints wanted him to do. He played every position, inside, outside, special teams, anything they wanted Craig Robinson to do, he did it. The Saints rewarded him with a 2-year extension, giving this man a 2-year deal worth $4 million, which I'm happy to have a guy like Craig Robinson back on the team. He's a fantastic player, fantastic talent. He's super smart, and he's the epitome of what the Saints play should be: hardworking, out there having fun. Good to see Craig Robinson back in the black and gold. Also, another core member of the special team, Chris Banjo, was inked to a 3-year deal, almost worth $7 million. And that's interesting to give him 3 years at $7 million. Perhaps the Saints looking at him in more of a role than just a special teams guy, perhaps. Maybe they'll fit him in more so. But still, with Kurt Coleman being cut, you're still in need that third safety. And I'm not so sure Chris Banjo could be that guy. I would really kind of keep him in the role of the special teams ace where he is. He's a fantastic talent there. Not so much on as your third safety. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people can agree with me on that. But the Saints gave him a 3-year deal worth $7 million. And, that was terrific as well. But both those guys, all 3 of those guys, Lutz, Robinson, and Banjo, are all core members of the special teams. The Saints get these guys back for multiple years, plus the new signings of the special teams, coaches and assistants. We expect them big things from that side of the football, dealing with the special teams as they start to carry their weight, because the defense is carrying their weight. The offense been carrying their weight. Now we have 3 aspects of the team that will be carrying their weight. Also, another signing that the Saints were able to put on and do was Teddy Bridgewater. Now, there was a report coming out of one of the Miami newspapers that they offered him a good amount of money to go down there and play with the Miami Dolphins. And he turned it down, a multi-year deal, pretty lucrative deal. He turned it down and decided to stay with the New Orleans Saints. You know why? Because Teddy Bridgewater isn't a fool. He's not a fool. He knows that Drew Brees will play one more year and that this team is his. He gets Alvin Kamara. He gets Mike Thomas. He gets all that firepower on the defense as the Saints continue to build. So as we make the move from the Brees to the Bridgewater transition from era to era, as Breeze's sun fade out and in comes Bridgewater, he understands that doing like we talked about before when they signed him last year, sit for 2 years, almost like a Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre type of deal, learn from a legend, soak up the offense, and in that 3rd year, take over and start running things. So very positive that Teddy Bridgewater wasn't wooed away by the Miami Dolphins and moved into that team, because the Saints would have to. That would have been most embarrassing, if you ask me. They gave up a 3rd-round draft pick to get Teddy Bridgewater, and then simply to let him walk in free agency would have been absolutely stupid. That'd have been stupid for him to do that. But instead, the Saints did the smart thing. They were able to lock Teddy Bridgewater down. Although they said he signed the contract, we don't know the particulars of the deal quite yet. And based upon some salary capping tracking of what the Saints is, they estimate to have just below $3 to $4 million somewhere in that realm after some of these deals work through, depending on how some of these deals are written. Because Mickey Loomis always plays these little Mickey Mouse games where he has a certain portion of the contract set into a signing bonus and stuff backed up into phantom years, and like what he did with AJ Klein's contract, where the bulk of the money was pushed to phantom years, and then when all kind of weird ways they twist these contracts. But in my opinion, Mickey Mouse should have been shaved off some money from Drew's contract, because Drew's sitting at $33 million. We could convert at least a portion of his salary into a signing bonus, give it to Drew, because Drew don't take pay cuts. Drew want all of his money. He never took a pay cut. The most Drew ever did was allow you to push his money back to the last year of his deal, or let it be converted into a signing bonus. Drew don't take pay cuts like Tom Brady. That's why Tom Brady's winning Super Bowls, and we just keep losing these games. Sometimes you got to give it up. Sometimes leading. Sometimes you got to give some of that money up. And Tom Brady did it. And look what he's doing, winning Super Bowl. He sacrificed some of the money, but in the back end, what's more important, the money or the legacy? It depends on who you are. But if Drew carrying the highest of the contracts, perhaps that will happen at some point. I was hoping to get it done before free agency, but perhaps we're not expecting the Saints by any stretch of imagination to continue to have big signings to happen. They simply don't have the money. But one of the biggest position needs for the team going ahead is the defensive tackle position, which people saying Q is the tight end, Q is the wide receiver, Q is this, Q is that. Listen, it's the defensive tackle position because of Sheldon Rankins. Rankins had that injury late in the year, and he won't be ready when the year starts, and it's going to take a while for him to get back to Sheldon Rankins. That was the best version of Sheldon Rankins we've seen last year, where he was just dominant. It's going to take a little bit for him to get there, and you don't want to rush him back like that. Now, Tyler Davison was a key person at that position. With Tyler Davison now an unrestricted free agent, the Saints will have to fill that in some kind of way. They're going to have to. And, of course, Alex Okafor met his parameters on his contract, which freed him to be a free agent, which that's another thing you have to look at. That third designated pass rusher, a starting tackle, perhaps next to him. And then behind him, Daniel Onyemata is dealing with those pot issues. We don't know if he'll serve a few games for that. We don't know how that's going to go. Also, there is Taylor Stallworth, who's there as well. So a lot of incompleteness, a lot of question marks inside the interior of the defensive line. What do the Saints do with that? Of course, there's a report that the Saints have Ezekiel Ansah, who's the big pass rusher from the Detroit Lions, who's a free agent now. He's visiting with the Bills, but they're saying at the report that he's supposed to come down here and come out for a trial. Of course, he has some injuries. If he could pass his physical, do the Saints have enough money to sign this man? I don't know, but we'll see. But that'll do it for the show, the Sports Coma with Big Q. I appreciate y'all for joining us. Remember, if you're a new listener of the show, hit the subscribe and notification buttons for more content. Also, check the description section and link below for links to our social media, donation, and products, all that great stuff here at Sports Coma. Thank you for listening. We're going to be monitoring this. Y'all stay tuned. Peace.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Embrace Pet Insurance is more than just pet insurance. Embrace Pet Insurance promises to provide genuine support and certainty when your pet needed the most. With personalized accident and illness policies, compassionate customer care, 24/7 access to veterinary professionals, flexible wellness plans, timely claims processing, and online customer portals, their values is what makes them Embrace. So, when selecting a pet insurance company as a partner in your pet's care, you deserve a company that has your pet's best interests at heart. Get top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Up to 90% back on bills at any vet, total protection, pet insurance and wellness, and dependable claims payments. Get the top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Go to embracepetiinsurance.com. That's embracepetiinsurance.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that? Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.